Gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on AEW. It is Sunday, August 27th, 2023, and this is your AEW All-In Review here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. And I could confidently say to you guys that this was the best AEW. In my opinion, this was the best show AEW has ever put on. They had the slogan of the biggest wrestling show ever. This is the first time that AEW went out of the United States, and they hit multiple Grand Slams tonight. This show was a show that I'm going to go back 10 years from now and watch. It's in my opinion, it's that legendary. It's like when I still go back and I watch my favorite WWE match of all time, Triple H versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. It's got that vibe to it, in my opinion. But we have so much to talk about here tonight. I'm here with the full crew, Wesley Williams, Cameron Johnson. Cam, what is up, dude? How are you? What did you think of All In today at Wembley Stadium?
I'm doing good, man. All In tonight was an excellent show. This was an excellent pay-per-view. This is an excellent pay-per-view. This is an excellent pay-per-view tonight. 81,000 people for a wrestling promotion not named WWE is unreal. And I know I said this in the predictions, but I really hope everyone that watched this show, whether you paid $50 for it, whether you were in the arena, or whether you stream, or whether you legally streamed the show. By the way, if you did that, I won't tell. I'm not gonna snitch. But I hope everyone takes this moment in and just realize how unprecedented this is for a promotion not named WWE to do this. TNA has been around for 21 years. Hulk Hogan, Sting, Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, some of the biggest names in wrestling history have walked through the doors of TNA. 8,000 people is their highest attended show. WCW, the only company in WWE's entire existence that was able to knock WWE off its mantle and overtake it as the number one wrestling promotion in the world, has 40,000 people in the Georgia Dome as their big crowning achievement, their big crowning stadium. AEW's been around 40 years, 81,000 people in that arena tonight, in that stadium tonight, man. Take this in, bro. Take this in and just appreciate this, bro. This felt like AEW's WrestleMania. All In, I think, if they do this as a yearly tradition, which I know they're doing it next year, but if they do it as a yearly tradition, this show really does feel like AEW's WrestleMania. This feels like AEW's biggest show of the year.
Absolutely, man. Wes, what's up, man? I'm sorry if my camera's frozen right now. It's frozen on my screen. I hope everything's good on your screen. But Wes, you could take it away. Talk about the show. What'd you think of it? The floor is yours.
Yeah, AEW just absolutely knocked it out of the park with All In today. This was huge for them. This is the biggest show they've ever put on, and for everything they did today, watching here, I mean, this was overall just a fantastic showing. This was a tremendous success. Everybody in AEW, whether it's wrestlers, crew, Tony Khan, like EVPs, everybody included, everybody who else show today should be very, very proud of themselves. Watching this was just a complete spectacle. I was like repeating like everything so many times in my head watching the show. Man, this is such a huge, huge spectacle, and it really had the same vibe as a WrestleMania. Just when you look at just the grand scale of this all, and seeing 81,000 packed that arena, breaking a new pro wrestling attendance world record, that's pretty unbelievable, man. And I love the pyro too. The production on this was just so like A plus. I mean, you would think WWE produced this, how well. Very definitely like the way the show was produced today. I mean, I tip my cap to everybody involved in AEW. I even want to shout out even the pre-show panel. When I was watching the 0 hour pre-show, like even having the panel there with Anthony Ogogo, Paul White, and Kip Sabian. I mean, it just had that feel to it. Like, this feels like I'm watching a WWE pay-per-view. It just had that same aura to it as far as like production goes. And yeah, I mean, every match on this card delivered. Every match, at the very least was really good. There was not a single match on this card that was just like a bathroom break, or it felt just completely. It felt like a complete dud. Every match delivered. The crowd, the 81,000 strong stadium, man. Shouts out to y'all. Y'all were an amazing crowd. I mean, the thunderous ovations for so many different wrestlers and so many different, absolutely just chef's kiss. And I can't say enough good things about this show. This was AEW's biggest show to date, and they needed to deliver big time, and they certainly did in a massive manner.
Absolutely, man. Is my screen frozen right now? Just wondering.
It's still frozen.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Okay, all right. As long as you can hear me, so I'll just work with it the way I have it right now. I don't know what's going on, but people can talk about the build. Listen, you do need a good build for a pay-per-view, but I feel like when it comes to Tony is Mr. Pay-per-view, man. When the build for the pay-per-view is not that strong, it's very rare where Tony doesn't follow up and deliver you guys a very good pay-per-view. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next week at All Out. We'll get to there when we get to there. Right now, I'm focused on All In this show that happened today. The crowd, the wrestling, the storytelling, the pyro, Wes said it. I asked my dad so many times, how much money do you think this guy spent on pyro for this All-In show? Like, literally almost every wrestler got pyro in their entrance today. They made this feel like a big show. This is now their version of WrestleMania. With them going back to London next year, they solidified this show as their version of WrestleMania. And you know what? That they deserve it, man. They deserve this moment. I said it Thursday, and I'll say it again. This show felt like a celebration of all the accomplishments AEW has had for the 5 years it's been around for. And the fact that they could do this, the fact that they sold out over 81,000 people, 81,035 people. Kudos to AEW. Kudos to everybody. Everybody was a part of that show. From the pre-show panel to everybody who wrestled on the pre-show to the main card wrestlers to production to commentary. Just a home run. A grand slam from AEW tonight. So we have a lot to talk about. Again, I'm sorry with my screen being frozen right now. I'll try my best, and hopefully it comes back on in a little bit. But we've got so much to get into. I don't really want to waste much time. So the buy-in pre-show started at 12 o'clock, and our first match was Aussie Open defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles against MJF and Adam Cole. And the pop that these guys, I mean, everybody got a huge pop tonight, man. Aussie Open were heels because they ruined Adam Cole, baby. So right then and there, the crowd hated Aussie Open. This was a fun match. Nothing too crazy. The crowd loved it towards the end when MJF and Cole were getting the momentum. MJF, he set up for the kangaroo kick, and over 80,000 people went nuts for a kangaroo kick by MJF. They then hit double clothesline onto Kyle Fletcher, and MJF and Adam Cole win the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Huge pop. Adam Cole, he takes the AEW World Championship. He glances down at it. He gives it to MJF, and both guys celebrate with the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Crowd loved this. I did not expect this to happen. I thought that for sure Aussie Open was going to win, and they were going to Aussie Open was going to win, and they were going to build more tension between Cole and MJF going into the main event. So I thought it was a fun match, and I was shocked by the finish. But what did you guys think? Let's start with Wes.
Very entertaining stuff here. Match didn't go too long. It seemed like it was a bit of a shorter match, but is the 0 hour buy-in, so they couldn't go like too long, especially because you have another match on the card with Jack. Very entertaining. The crowd was electric for this match. And I love Aussie Open attacking them before the bell rings, before Adam Cole can do his Adam Cole Bebe chant. It adds more heat to them. They were definitely the heels in this, undoubtedly to be expected. Very honestly surprised that they did drop the titles to MJF and Adam Cole. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought there was going to be coercion between MJF and Adam Cole, and it was going to ultimately cost them. But no coercion whatsoever. Both guys operated the way they've always operated as a tag team. They've been very cohesive, and it wasn't a can they coexist storyline going into this at all. I really enjoyed it. Entertaining stuff, and it really adds a lot more to the story of the main event. I was very curious, like after watching this now, how is this going to add to the main event with them becoming the ROH Tag Team Champions? So, but I really enjoyed this, man. This just got the crowd hyped up really quickly, and very, very entertaining stuff.
Cameron?
I thought this was a good match here. I thought it was surprisingly short. This match only went about 5 minutes, which was shocking to me. But it was shocking to me. But at the same time, I understand because two guys in this match were wrestling in the main event. So why risk injury by keeping? So why risk injury? So it's probably a good thing they kept the match short. Overall, I enjoyed this. I thought this was fine. That finish shocked me. I was not expecting Cole and MJF to walk out of here the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I thought Aussie Open for sure was going to retain, but I can't complain about Cole and MJF's Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, so I can't complain about that. But overall, I thought this was good.
Yeah, fun match, and it made it interesting. I thought their way of making it more interesting was tension going into from the pre-show going into the main event. But MJF and Cole won the tag team champions, and we got a lot to talk about with them when we get to the main event of this show. The second and final match of the 0 hour was Hook challenging Jack Perry for the FTW championship. This was under FTW rules, so I'm guessing this was false count anywhere. They gave Jack Perry a special entrance. He came out driving a big limo car. Hook met him up on the ramp to go fight him. Hook was slamming Perry onto the car. He then opened one of the car doors, and he Irish whipped Perry into the car door, and the car door took some damage. Jack Perry was then on top of the car. He body slammed Hook on top of the car. He mocked Rob Van Dam, did a rolling set time onto the car, and Hook kicked out at 2. Both guys, they're wrestling on the car, and Perry knocks on the car, on the glass of the car, and he says, This is real glass. Cry me a river, bitch." I'll talk about that later. So Hook suplexes Jack Perry into the car, the windshield of that car. Both guys are in the ring, and Hook's got a trash can. He's laying down. Jack Perry looks for the coast to coast. He connects on the actually he jumps down from the coast to coast. He just starts beating up Hook. Crowd are raining boos on Perry. I think he's getting comfortable in this heel role now that he's been in it a couple weeks. The crowd obviously hates him, and he's not doing bad right now. Perry looks for a moonsault, but he misses, and Hook, he then hits a couple suplexes, and he hits Perry over the head with the trash can into the red rum. Jack Perry taps out. Hook wins the FTW championship. Crowd loved it, and this was probably the right move. We all predicted Jack Perry to win this match, but I'm not really sure what there is to do with this FTW championship now. I have no idea where the direction goes. It's good to see that Jack Perry is coming into his own as a heel right now. Obviously, the crowd hates him, And I feel like he's getting comfortable than he was before. So, what are your thoughts on the match? And then I got some other stuff to talk about before the main card. Wes.
Yeah, this was very fun. I really enjoyed the spots in this match. That suplex under the glass of on the window of that limbo car was brutal. Seeing Jack's arm after that was very brutal looking. I mean, he was pretty much just lacerated on the arm there. It was nasty to see, but goes to show you the bad blood that is shared between these guys. They were just out there to just fucking maim each other, and they did a really good job in this match. Some really cool here. Not surprised by the result. I figured Hook was going to win the title back. Got a great pop. Very happy for the guy. And man, I know Taz was sitting at commentary just as a proud father watching on as his son headlines the biggest attended wrestling event of all time. Quite a moment there. But yeah, what happens with the FTW title now? I'm not sure. I don't know what's next for Jack Perry if he moves on from this and he goes on to feud with somebody else. Not sure really. We'll have to see. But it was very fun to watch. Got the crowd even more energetic after the Ring of Honor tag title match. So yeah, overall a very very solid pre-show.
Yeah, Cam.
Overall, I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the entrance with Jack Perry. I enjoyed the entrance with Jack Perry coming out of the limo looking like a real douchebag. Looking like a real douchebag. So I really enjoyed that. I was surprised by the finish with Hook winning the MTW title back. So in fact that Jungle Boy in fact that Jack Perry just won the FTW title like a month ago. So, him losing it back to Hook this quickly, I am shocked by that. But I'm with Wes. I don't know what to do with the FTW title, although I have an idea I'd like to float around, and the idea is this. Why not make the FTW title or give the FTW title an option similar to what Impact used to do? I don't know if they do it anymore, but for what Impact used to do with the X Division title, where the X Division title, would have option C, would have option C, which would be the X Division champion at the time could cash in their X Division championship for a shot at the world title. Why not maybe do something like that with the FTW title, where the winner of the FTW title can cash in, and maybe not on an AEW championship match, but maybe on like a TNT championship shot or something. I don't know. It's just an idea, but I don't know what you do with the FTW title anymore. So,
Nah, that's definitely a creative idea. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Tony Khan would do it. More than likely not, but that's a solid idea. But I'm not sure where they go with Hook, and I certainly don't know where they're going to go with Jack Perry. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about this for a little bit before we get into the main card here. It was reported by Fightful Select. According to one side of the story, there was a backstage scuffle between Jack Perry and CM Punk at All In today. It was claimed that Jack Perry approached CM Punk backstage and stepped in his face and bumped CM Punk. Punk was said to have then pushed Perry, and Perry allegedly came back at Punk, and he got choked out. It was another report from PW Insider. CM Punk was still backstage at Wembley Stadium after during the show, while Jack Perry was ordered to leave and is no longer at the stadium. That is according to PW Insider. And then to begin the medium scrum, Tony was asked about this scuffle between CM Punk and Jack Perry, and Tony Khan said he can't comment on the incident between Jack Perry and CM Punk and is being investigated, but he can't say more about it right now. So, to me, I mean, I fucking hate that we even have to talk about this, but it sounds like to me that Jack Perry fucked around and he found out what against CM Punk. I don't know if there's going to be a suspension from this. I don't know. I hate that Punk is always in these backstage arguments. That's the one criticism I have about him. The man can't keep his mouth shut, and he can't get himself out of drama. And I don't know, man. I hate talking about this, but it was reported a couple weeks ago that I think that Jack Perry wanted to use real glass and Punk wouldn't let him. And then that's probably why Jack Perry did the Cry Me a River bitch and stuff like that. So to me, Jack Perry started all this. And to me, and I know people are going to go out there and say, oh, this is CM Punk again. He's starting shit. But in fact, this time it sounded like Jack Perry was trying to start shit against CM Punk. And that's the way I see this. That's my opinion. Do you guys want to comment on this?
I can't believe I can't believe CM Punk got criticism for stopping Jack Perry for using actual glass. Like why? Like why? Like why? Like why would you use real glass in that angle anyway? Like why? I understand that you want to make it look realistic or whatever, but like, using real glass is stupid. Like using real glass is stupid, especially when this thing called sugar glass exists and it's much safer. To me, it's just the whole glass thing is stupid. But I don't see the appeal.
Wes?
Overall, it's just an unfortunate situation. I mean, stuff like this just can't keep happening backstage at AEW, especially given the bad rep that AEW's backstage stuff has already been getting over all this course of time ever since the Brawl Out happened last year and everything. I mean, I would say, yeah, in this particular instance, Punk is not at fault here. Punk's just trying to look out for the other talent. Like, obviously, yes, he real class in this match with Jack Perry and Hook tonight, and it went off okay. Nobody got seriously injured from it, thank God. But at the same time, it's like there's a reason why Sugar Glass in the Blood and Guts match with BCC and the Elite. I mean, the whole thing with pro wrestling is you're supposed to protect your opponent. That's the whole thing with when you're wrestling. Yes, you want to make it look realistic. You want to make it look as real as you can. Even though we all know watching it, it's a scripted sport. We know that, and you want to try and make it look realistic to suspend your disbelief and all that. But at the same time, you gotta look out for each other. And Punk is just simply looking out for Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry's just being kind of an arrogant piece of shit in this particular instance because he wants to be all high and mighty and say, no, I want to do this. I want this dangerous stuff. I can do it. And I just feel like he's getting a pretty big inflated ego about it. And just in this instance, I mean, we obviously don't know every single detail. I mean, Bible, obviously, I mean, they're a trustworthy source, so we know that like this, everything that happened seemed to have happened and all that. Situation cool down now. I do appreciate Tony Khan not saying anything further on the incident at the moment. They're just investigating it because we don't need any more serious like videos coming out about any more like everything. But yeah, I mean, Punk just also can't afford to keep getting himself in these instances. He just can't. Like, given the reputation he already has and how ran as a bad house. Everybody's just in the asylum, running around, doing whatever the hell they want. There's no control. Tony Khan, I mean, I will say this: he needs to put his foot down on this stuff. He really does. Like, he needs to seriously talk to the people. And if these people and if anybody in the locker room doesn't want to cooperate, then get them out of the company. Like, if they continue to disrespect your guidelines, disrespect your orders, then that's the cue that they should not be in the company anymore, and they're clearly not professional enough to work in this environment. So that's my 2 cents on the whole. Hopefully nothing more comes out of this. I'm hoping that this is just water under the bridge now, and we can just stop and have enough is enough with these backstage altercations, because AEW just can't afford, especially when you have as big of a show as this that happened today. You just can't afford having any more incidents like this.
Yeah, I agree. Punk's done some bad stuff. Obviously, he started to roll out against the Elite, and that's the reason he was suspended. So I didn't stick up for anybody in that incident that happened last year. That was a black guy on the company. This, as both you guys said, it just feels like that CM Punk's trying to protect the younger talent, and he's looking out for the talent. And Jack Perry's like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna do what I want." And to me, that you're acting like an asshole, dude. And you got to cooperate with your coworkers. And at the end of the day, yes, we all love this. We all love professional wrestling, but we got to go out there and we gotta protect the people we're in the ring with, because if we don't do that, then more than likely not half the roster could be fucking injured. So I think this is more at fault for Jack Perry than I do CM Punk. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I would rather talk about this great show that we got instead of that. So let's talk about that. Speaking of CM Punk started the show. It was CM Punk defending the Real World's Championship against Samoa Joe. The crowd was immaculate for this match. The vibe was awesome. CM Punk worked as the heel, where he was clearly getting the boos, and Samoa Joe was clearly getting the cheers. CM Punk was ducking chops away from Samoa Joe early in the match. Joe eventually caught him on the outside area, started chopping him all over the place. Crowd was eating this up. Samoa Joe then flung back Punk into the ring, and Punk went up to the top rope, and he saw Joe walking away. He didn't jump. So I really liked that move. That was very creative. He then goes ahead and hits a Hurricane Rana. Loud boos from the London crowd. Then he tries to do it again on the outside, and Samoa Joe, he catches him, and he swings him like a baseball bat, and he puts him through the announce table. I guess there was a piece of wood underneath the announce table, and that's what he put him through. And CM Punk came out all gushed out in blood. Crowd's chanting, "Holy shit." Punk can barely move. Samoa Joe is chopping the shit out of CM Punk in the ring. He tries to hit Muscle Buster. CM Punk moves. CM Punk then gets more momentum, hits a roundhouse kick onto Samoa Joe, trying to get a figure four in, but he didn't. And it was another move that I think it was a move that Terry Funk did. So he was paying homage to Terry Funk in that instance. Both guys were then on the top rope, and he was trying to hit a move onto Samoa Joe, and Joe, he slipped, got back up onto the rope. Both guys fought. CM Punk hit the Pepsi plunge onto Samoa Joe, and CM Punk is still the real world's champion. Very good match. Crowd loved it. They ate this shit up. CM Punk is polarizing with these reactions that he's getting. He's clearly got the split crowd, and he's got the world of pro wrestling. Like every town he goes to, he's got the fans in the palm. He's got the people in the palm of his hands, basically. So he retains the real world championship in a very good match against Samoa Joe. Let's get your guys' thoughts. Let's start with Cam.
I thought this was a really good match to kick off the show here. And it was nice seeing Punk win with the Pepsi plunge. I remember the last time we saw Punk win with the Pepsi plunge. I thought that was cool. So I thought that was cool. Yeah, Joe Punk was good as always. And CM Punk is still your real world's champion. I would get Punk and Ricky Starks it all out.
Yeah, I thought, honestly, we would see an appearance from Ricky on the show, but that did not happen. Wes?
Yeah, very solid show with this match. Obviously we already know the history between these two guys, and Joe wanted this rivalry to finally end on, and I definitely enjoyed this more than their match on Collision. Not to say their match on Collision was bad or it was really bad, but this definitely had a bigger fight feel to it, and it was very solid overall. Especially Joe with chopping the ass out of Punk throughout this match. I really enjoy the fact that Punk ended it with the Pepsi plunge. He doesn't break it out that often, and so it just feels it went off really well. And not surprised by the result either. Punk, we already knew he was going to retain the World Championship, and now we look forward to All Out, which I would imagine we probably will get another match with Punk and Starks. We'll have to see. I know Starks is managing Big Bill now, so there's a little alliance there. So Ricky Starks has his own big next side. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays up into this storyline between Punk and Starks. But yeah, I would imagine next Sunday, especially because they're in Chicago too. I mean, you got to have Punk on the show in Chicago. So yeah, I'm imagining we're going to get either Punk versus Starks or maybe Punk versus Big Bill, because I know they're doing the whole storyline with Ricky Starks' suspension. It was a 30-day suspension, and I don't think the 30 days has been up yet. So we'll have to see. But, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see, but I wouldn't even be shocked if Punk shows up on Dynamite Wednesday, because Dynamite is in Chicago on Wednesday as well, and I think they got to get these matches out fast to the fans just to get them. Hey, this is what's coming up. You don't want them you don't want to let them know the night before that we're gonna do this. I think Wednesday is gonna be full of chaos. I think we see Punk on Wednesday. We might even see Ricky Starks on Wednesday night too. We'll see. Let's move on here. 6-man tag. The Golden Elite, Hangman Page, Kota Ibushi, and Kenny Omega. They faced Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. I'm going to skip this part right here. Kenny Omega was getting ready to do his dive over the top rope. And why I think this UK crowd was so awesome, moments like this, when you have everybody in the crowd clapping, and Omega, everybody's doing it with Omega, 80,000 people. This scene was crazy, man. He hit his move, and that's the type of that's the moments that you're like, wow, this UK crowd. You could tell that they were starving for AEW to come for the first time ever, and that shot was amazing. So we get back into the ring, and Konosuke Takeshita, slow offense to Kenny Omega, just wearing him down and wearing him down. We pick up the action. Hangman Page is in the ring with Jay White, gives him a scoop slam, hits a dive onto Juice Robinson over the top rope. He climbs into the ring, clotheslines Jay White over the ramp, gives a big forearm to Konosuke Takeshita. There was a really nice sequence where Page and Omega were doing tag team maneuvers. The double suplex, they were hitting You Can't Escape to Jay White, while Takeshita was on the top rope. And they did. Kenny hit the You Can't Escape into a moonsault, into a front flip from Hangman Page. Then he went to the top rope and he hit a reversed power slam onto Konosuke Takeshita from the top rope. That sequence was beautiful. Later in the match, actually this might have been earlier, Konosuke and Kenny Omega doing back and forth elbows to each other. Konosuke Takeshita's elbows are gross. Absolutely gross, man. You can hear the echo in the Wembley Stadium when Takeshita hit his elbow to Kenny Omega, and that was a loud pop. We get to the end of the match, and Kota Ibushi is taken out at this point by Jay White. Juice Robinson gets a distraction on the Hangman Page, and Konosuke Takeshita, he very rapidly rolls up Kenny Omega, and we got a rapid fire finish, out of the blue finish. Konosuke Takeshita pins Kenny Omega, which I'll say, you know what, that shocked me. Because I thought for sure when they had a one-on-one match that Kenny was going to put over Takeshita. And tonight, Takeshita, he got the first win over Kenny Omega. And I don't know what this means for All Out, because I'm still guessing that they're going to have a match at All Out next Sunday. It's right there in front of you. I don't know what happens from here. Does Kenny get his win back against Takeshita? Does Takeshita get another win? I'm guessing that's a question saved for the prediction show, but I was very I'm like, okay, what are we leading towards here? But the match overall, the match was fun as hell. A really fun 6-man tag, just the way that I expected it. Wes, what were your thoughts?
Exciting stuff tag here. A lot of fast-paced action, especially towards the end there. Started out pretty slow, but then it really picked up those last few minutes of the match. A lot of really cool spots. But yeah, Takeshita rolling up Kenny. Didn't expect that. Didn't expect to see that, but really huge moment for Takeshita to pin one of the top stars in your company in front of 81,000 at Wembley Stadium. Huge moment for Takeshita there. I imagine we're still going to get Omega Takeshita at All Out next Sunday. As far as the result goes, we'll get into it when we get into it once we do All Out predictions. But yeah, I would say might alter what I initially thought was going to happen with that match potentially happening. So, yeah, but overall, very exciting stuff from these guys. Big, huge win here for Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold with Jay White and Juice Robinson picking up a victory over the Golden Elite. Definitely puts them over big here, and it's cool to see. It wasn't the result I was expecting, but very great putting over younger talent over, putting over the at least lesser known talent in Takeshita, Jay White, and Juice Robinson. So yeah, overall, very solid stuff.
Cam?
I thought this was a really fun 6-man tag. I thought this was a really fun 6-man tag. Despite Kota Ibushi not looking like himself, which is understandable because Kota Ibushi is very beat up. Because he's very beat up. But despite that, I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought this was a lot of fun. Juice Robinson is great. That man is fantastic. I hope Juice Robinson gets a pay raise. I hope Juice Robinson gets a pay raise because the work he's been putting in with Bullet Club Gold has been absolutely great. He's the MVP of that faction, in my opinion. He's the MVP of that faction, in my opinion. But yeah, so Juice Robinson is great. I would absolutely hate to wrestle Konosuke Takeshi. That man looks like he's beating the living hell out of you every time he's in there. And that Blue Thunder Bomb looks violent as hell. Oh God, he might do a better Blue Thunder Bomb. He might do a better Blue Thunder Bomb than Sami Zayn, which is saying a lot. Because Sami's Blue Thunder Bomb is awesome. But Konosuke Takeshi is great. This sets up the rematch for Omega and Takeshita at All Out. And yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, fun match. And hey, man, I saw someone on the internet saying, when's AEW going to push Takeshita? First of all, he's in the ring with 5 fantastic athletes, and he just got a huge win over Kenny Omega. So, yeah, I'm sure those people are quiet.
What do they mean? What are they going to start pushing? What are they going to start pushing Takeshita? He's in the ring with 2 of the biggest stars in AEW right now, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. FTR defending the AEW tag team titles against the Young Bucks. I loved this. This was classic tag team wrestling. Start slow and build it up. The last 10 minutes of this match. Wow. That was awesome. That was truly awesome. Watching the last 10 minutes of this match. So I am going to start right when it picked up. The Bucks were hitting double super kicks onto Dax Harwood multiple times, and they went to go pin him, and it was a close near fall, 2 count. The Bucks then they went for the BTE trigger, and they collided knees with each other. We've seen that multiple times. Cash Wheeler takes out Nick Jackson, and FTR they hit their own version of the BTE trigger onto Matt Jackson into a shatter machine. After the BTE trigger, they do the double kiss to Matt Jackson's cheeks, and then they hit the shatter machine. But Matt kicked out, and Wembley Stadium went nuts. I thought that was going to be the damn finish. And then, before this, Cash Wheeler, he is standing on the outside, and he hits the 450 tries to hit the 450 on the Matt Jackson. He misses. Matt Jackson hits a super kick. He's grabbing at his ankle, and Cash Wheeler kicked out. Now, if you guys remember that was the finish from their first match at Full Gear 2020. Cash Wheeler missed a flip. Matt Jackson hit a super kick, and the Young Bucks won the tag team titles. Tonight, Cash Wheeler kicked out. He kicked out of that super kick from Matt Jackson. Then Dax, he gets tagged in, and he notices that the Young Bucks are right behind him. He turns around, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick, they hit a shatter machine onto Dax Harwood from out of nowhere. Well, he kind of expected it, and he literally walked right into it. And then they hit BTE trigger onto Cash Wheeler. Again, I thought that was the end of the match. That would have been a great ending, but Cash Wheeler kicked out. Cash Wheeler kicked out, and then at the end, they go for the Meltzer driver. Dax Harwood takes out Matt Jackson. They hit a crazy shatter machine onto Nick Jackson. 1, 2, 3. FTR retained the AEW Tag Team titles. And we all said on Thursday that the Young Bucks were going to win the Tag Team titles because of everything that was going on with Cash Wheeler. And again, that's the only reason we thought the Young Bucks were going to win this match. I think they got this result right. I don't know what you guys think, but I think this was the right outcome. The Young Bucks, they don't need to be AEW Tag Team Champions, and I feel like there's a long way. There's still more for FTR to do, the Tag Team titles, before they eventually drop them again. Who are they going to drop them to? I don't know. Personally, I would like to see them run it back with Jay and Juice and have them win the titles from FTR. But I don't know what's going to happen, so I have to wait and watch. But absolutely loved this match. Classic, old school tag team wrestling. I loved it. Cam, what were your thoughts, buddy?
I thought this was an excellent tag team match. This was probably my second favorite match of the entire night. FTR are continuing to prove why they are the best, why they are the best, if not one of the best tag teams in the world. Their match catalog this year is ridiculous, just an absolutely ridiculous match catalog from FTR this year, and so this was another excellent match. The Bucks are good as always. The Bucks are good as always. I don't understand the hate Bucks get online. I just don't, because the Bucks have proven to be more than just super kick monkeys, because the Bucks have proven to be more than just flips and super kicks, and more than just and more than just spot monkeys. They've proven that every single time they go out there on pay-per-view, because the matches themselves are excellent. So I don't understand the hatred people still have for the Young Bucks at this point. But this was just an excellent match between two of the best tag teams in the world, because that's what they are. They're two of the best tag teams in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Wes.
Yeah, this was absolutely fantastic. If we didn't get the main event between Jeff and Adam Cole, this undoubtedly would have been my match of the night. Definitely a match of the year candidate as well. On top of that, when these two teams enter the ring together, you're gonna get tag team matches. These two teams never disappoint, and they didn't disappoint whatsoever in this match today. For the AEW tag titles in front of 81,000 strong in Wembley Stadium, just amazing stuff. And those absolutely just chef's kiss, just amazing, phenomenal stuff from these two guys, from these two teams. And I honestly thought, Young Bucks were gonna put the tag titles, especially because you have the current arrest of Cash Wheeler looming over FTR's heads. recently and stuff. So that was kind of a major factor as to why I thought Young Bucks would win. But FTR did retain. I'm not upset about the result whatsoever. I mean, I would prefer an FTR to win retain the titles anyway. No offense to the Young Bucks, love the Young Bucks as well. But FTR retaining, I feel like is a really good result. And but yeah, you got to. I mean, I know the Young Bucks have a lot of haters out there, and they just think they're spot monkeys, all that stuff. But if you actually pay attention to their matches, it's throughout their time in AEW, even before that, like they're not just spot monkeys. They actually know how to tell a story. I mean, just go back to their match Revolution 2020 against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. That right there, that with that match right there, and you can go into other matches they've had too, and see that there's storytelling involved. It's not just super kick here, there, flip here, flip there. It's not always just that. And I mean, so people always use that stupid argument online, but the Young Bucks are going to continue to have haters, and they know that too, and so that's why they troll the internet every single day, which is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, this was absolutely fantastic. I knew these four guys were going to deliver just beautiful tag team magic, and that's exactly what they did. Love it, excellent stuff.
Yeah, FTR, man, they are the best tag team in the world. The matches that they have had in the last 6 weeks, could you already lock them up as tag team of the year? I mean,
yes.
They were last year. They were the tag team of the year last year, and then you're looking at a possibility where these guys are ever since Collision, these guys are having such a great tag team reign. And the matches that they are having are unreal right now, that there's a possibility where you can lock FTR up as the tag team of the year right before September. And kudos to them. They are fucking fantastic. Oh, excuse me. My second favorite match of the night, next to the main event, but the main event was my favorite match of the night. But if it wasn't for the main event, Stadium Stampede. My goodness, man. This was chaos. This was fucking chaos, man. Now, this was more like anarchy in the arena, but man, for what these guys gave us, at the end of the day, I don't care. This match was phenomenal. Eddie Kingston came out with his entrance music. He didn't even acknowledge his teammates. He ran right past them to go tackle Claudio Castagnoli, bashing him over the head with a trash can. Everybody's got each other. Jon Moxley throws a steel chair at Chuck Taylor. This is nuts. And then best friends, they're standing in the ring right across from Santana and Ortiz. Nice throwback to their parking lot brawl match a couple years ago. Eddie Kingston, he is battling it out with Claudio Castagnoli in the seats. Wheeler Yuta, he's with Chuck Taylor. They showed picture in picture. So in one picture, you had Penta in the ring with Santana and Ortiz, and in the other picture, you had Eddie Kingston and Claudio, who were fighting close to the concessions. Eddie throwing Claudio onto the door. Moxley then got in the ring with Penta, and this motherfucker brings out skewers. He brings out skewers, and he attempts to hit Penta with the skewers, but Penta, he hits a steel chair over the head of Jon Moxley. Penta, he then takes the skewers, puts them on top of Mox's head, and he starts bashing him in the head with the skewers, man. Gross, but fucking intense. And the scene of the skewers sticking out of Moxley's head, man, was unbelievable. What a crazy and what a frightening sight that was. later on in the match. Moxley, he's in the ring with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is giving Moxley the low kicks to the shins. I think if there's one person you don't want to give shin kicks to, it's Jon Moxley, because that'll piss him off even more. Moxley clotheslines Orange Cassidy. He actually takes a fork and stabs him in the back of the head, and he starts jabbing him in the face with the fork. He starts biting his face. So the shin kicks to Jon Moxley, he made him bring out a fork, and then Moxley suplexes Orange Cassidy onto a steel chair. I think this is the first violent match I have ever seen Orange Cassidy in, and he thrived in this match. So Claudio is still fighting Eddie Kingston. In the ring, you have Santana and Ortiz with Penta. With Trent, and Trent is all busted open after Moxley hit a barbed wire board onto his face. And Santana and Ortiz, they launched Trent onto this ladder, and he bounced off like a fucking basketball, man. That was brutal. Moxley then suplexes Trent onto a barbed wire board, and Trent is laying on the barbed wire. And also, Penta, this spot had me nervous. Penta took a pile driver onto 2 chairs, and they had emergency out for him. They had the doctors out for him, and they threw up the X, and Penta was being helped to the back. So I don't know what was going on there. He ended up coming back. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Everybody's brawling with each other on the outside and up on the stage, and a white fan came in, and it was Sue. Sue came on the stage, and Jon Moxley kissed Sue while Sue was in the car. He took her batch of cookies and he hit Chuck Taylor over the head with it. Then the best friends, they attacked Moxley. Trent did, and they started to hit Moxley with the batch of cookies. Penta came out, and he came back out as Penta Oscuro. He had this all red gear, and I don't know. That was kind of lame. I'm glad he's okay, but I found that pretty lame. He suplexed Santana through 2 tables near the stage. The best friends, Wheeler Yuta is all banded up, and the best friends, they give Wheeler Yuta a hug in the middle of the ring before they go up, and they beat him up even more. Claudio Castagnoli is back at this point. He smashed a beer bottle over the head of Eddie Kingston while in the concession stand. So Eddie was out for a while. Claudio's back in the ring. He's giving Orange Cassidy the giant swing, and then Eddie Kingston, he comes back out with a barbed wire steel chair, and he is launching it at Claudio. That was his only focus on the entire match, Claudio. And then Moxley got in his way. And while this was all going on, Orange Cassidy tried to he put more tape on his wrist, and the sticky part sticks out so that he can put glass on the tape, because he hit 3 orange punches to Claudio and it wasn't enough. Claudio kicked out. So at this point, Eddie Kingston's back out there, and Claudio, he's gonna hit Claudio with the steel chair barbed wire. And Moxley stops it from happening. Claudio, small package, rolls up Eddie Kingston, and he kicked out. Jurgens to both Claudio and Eddie, and to Claudio and Moxley. And Eddie Kingston, he spears Moxley through the bar. He spears Moxley through the wooden table, and Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch on the Claudio with the glass. And the good guys, Eddie Kingston, Penta, the best friends, and Orange Cassidy get the win. This match was amazing. That's just the word I'm going to use. Amazing. My second favorite match of the night, for sure. Cam, what were your thoughts?
I thought this was excellent. I love this. This is my favorite match of the night, easily. You guys know how much I love Stadium Stampede and Anarchy in the Arena. You guys know how much I love that match. I thought this was great. This was an excellent match here. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know the main event itself was great, but to me this was my match of the night. I know the main event was great, but personally, this was my match of the night. This was just a ton of fun.
Wes?
Yeah, this was just absolute pure chaos all around. These guys just absolutely maimed and tortured each other throughout this entire match. It was very fun to watch. I know the hardcore matches aren't everybody's type of tea, or anybody's cup of tea. I mean, but when you go into a match called Stadium Stampede, I mean, what do you really expect? It's like I see so many people complain about these matches. It's like, y'all, this isn't going to be a collar and elbow, like headlock takeover, technical wrestling masterpiece. It's Stadium Stampede, which means these guys are going to just kill each other. They're not going to see a bunch of big time wrestling moves and holds for holds. You're just kind of guys going out there grabbing any weapon they can find and just completely murdering each other with all of it. And I love it. And again, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's fine, but again, if you're complaining that like, oh, this was too violent or something, it's like, what did you expect? And I personally, I was curious to see how they were going to handle doing Stadium Stampede with a full crowd this time, considering that we've had Stadium Stampede happen with no crowd and everything. But this was a lot of fun to watch, very entertaining. And just the image of the skewers in Moxley's head was just so intense. My dad was watching some of the show with me, and he was just laughing his ass off seeing Moxley with the skewers just hanging out of his skull. It was just very, very fun. Orange Cassidy looked like a total badass in this thing with the glass on the duct tape that he taped around his wrist. Just looked absolutely brutal. And then Sue coming on into the match, bringing her cookie plates of or her plates of cookies into the fold. Just great stuff all around. A couple little botches here and there, but with a match like this, I feel like botches are a little bit more acceptable, considering that these are just guys going out there to just do anything they can to just hurt and maim each other in any way possible. But yeah, definitely one of the best matches of the show by far. Crowd was so hot for it. And I was surprised BCC didn't pick up the win here. I kind of thought they were going to get the win, but I thought maybe Eddie Kingston was going to maybe cost his team the match. But surely that didn't happen. Orange Cassidy gets the pin and the victory for his team on pay-per-view. I imagine now going into All Out, I would expect we're going to get Cassidy and Moxley going one-on-one for the international title, considering that they've been duking it out some as well. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, pure, unadulterated chaos, and it was excellent all around.
I forgot to mention this. I'm not gonna lie. When Sue drove up with her van, I thought they were gonna I thought there was gonna be a spot where Sue would get out the van, but she would have like a strap or something. She would have like a strap or something and just start going to town on the members of the BCC. I thought that was a spot that was gonna happen. I thought that was a spot that was gonna happen, but
dude, that would have been.
But I would have laughed if that happened.
That would have been so funny. Can you imagine Sue whooping John Moxley?
Maybe not the Moxley or Claudio, but like the Yuta, but like the Yuta, she gets the strap, like she starts whipping Yuta with it. I thought that was gonna be fire. I would have laughed my ass off if that happened.
Oh my god! Listen, man. Any object you could think of in wrestling, they used it. Tables, chairs, candlesticks, glass, barbed wire. We didn't see thumbtacks. Claudio used a beer can. There was Legos. Just literally everything you can think of. These guys used. And was this better than this year's Anarchy in the Arena? I don't know. I feel like the Anarchy in the Arena had more story. This had a good story too, but this was fantastic, and I fucking loved it. It was beautiful, beautiful violence. Women's four-way. Hikaru Shida defended against Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and Saraya. Saraya came out to We Will Rock You. She came out to We Will Rock You. And Toni Storm came out to God Save the Queen. So both ladies got big entrances. Tony Khan spent some good money on some entrance music tonight. I'm not going to go over this match move by move just to save time. I thought this match was pretty good too. My issue with this was I felt like they were just getting into their stride with this four-way match, and then the match ended. I think if they would have given this 5 more minutes, I felt like this would have been even better than what it was. But what it was for, it was good. The story of this match was between Saraya and Toni Storm. Saraya and Toni Storm trying to get the title from Saraya. Toni Storm wanting spotlight on her. Saraya's mom was holding Britt Baker while Toni Storm was chopping Britt Baker, and then she went for a forearm, and Britt ducked, and Toni Storm hit Saraya's mom, and that's really when the tension built. Both ladies were trying to beat the shit out of each other. Ruby Soho came in the frame. She was pushed by Toni Storm, and Ruby, just out of frustration, left. And the ending was Saraya hitting her finisher to pin Toni Storm and win the AEW Women's Championship. So I thought it was a good match, and Saraya's the champion. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me get your thoughts from you guys. We'll start with Wes.
Yeah, I thought for what it was a good women's four-way here. Saraya and Toni Storm both had some really solid entrances. It was also cool Saraya coming out with her family too, just knowing that she grew up in a wrestling family and they helped her get into the business, and she's been just been a part of so many big moments throughout her young career. I mean, she just this year I think turned 30, or was last year. I mean, she's still so young in this business, and she's already done so much, and that includes tonight. Yeah, but for what was really good four-way. It would have been nice to see a few extra minutes, but it was really good. The crowd seemed to be into it pretty well too. I'm not super surprised Saraya won the title. I predicted Cheetah was going to retain. I kind of thought that's what they were going to do, but I can't say I'm too shocked that Saraya won, considering that they were in her home country, and it's a huge moment. The moment right there was massive for Saraya. So I get it. It would have been nice to see Cheetah have a longer reign. Personally, it would have, but I know Cheetah had to have enjoyed, being the champion going in and performing in front of 81,000, the biggest crowd she's ever wrestled in front of. I know that had to have been a super cool moment. With Saraya being champion now, what this means for the Outcast, we'll have to see. I imagine we might be getting some sort of split coming up here. I'm not sure who Saraya really feuds with next for the women's title, and what how long her reign is. I'm not quite sure, but seeing the fact that we did see a special someone in the crowd tonight who might make quite an impact in the AEW women's division in the future, possibly. We had that appearance from Mercedes Moné. She was in attendance for the show tonight, and I did think maybe she was going to confront Saraya after this match was over, and we'd set up right there a future feud right there. But nothing has been set in stone yet when it comes to Mercedes Moné and her contract status with New Japan. What's going on with her? But if there's any indication, seeing how much they were bringing her name up throughout this and painting the camera to her, I would imagine she probably's already put pen to paper at this point with AEW. And if that's the case, that's probably your biggest women's signing yet. And man, I mean, the matches she could be having in AEW, man, is going to be quite a spectacle. So I imagine there's going to be something there in the future with Mercedes and the women's title. But for the moment of Saraya winning the women's title, really cool moment there for her. And again, the Fatal 4-Way was for what it was really good.
Cameron?
I thought the 4-way was fine. I was not a fan of the finish of Saraya winning the AEW Women's Championship. Listen, I understand that they're in their hometown, that they're in their home country, and that they, that she brought her family out there. I completely understand that. But to be honest with you, I really don't care. I think Hikaru Shida should have retained the championship here. I think Shida should have retained the championship here. I'm just not a big fan of Saraya as the AEW Women's Champion because they essentially put their championship on a woman who barely wrestles. And it's not like and it's not like and it's not like an MJF thing where MJF barely wrestles on free television. MJF barely wrestles on free television, but MJF is on TV weekly. He's on most of the pay-per-views. Saraya doesn't. Saraya rarely wrestles at every. Saraya rarely wrestles at all the AEW pay-per-views. I understand the need so I don't understand why they had to put the championship on there. Like I know they're in our home country, but to me, I'm not the biggest Soraya fan, so I don't know why. I'm not the biggest Soraya fan, so I'm not a fan of putting the championship on it. But good for her, I guess. I'm just not a fan of this finish.
Here's my thing with this. I knew I kind of figured out as soon as she came out to "We Will Rock You" and the reception she got, and she had her family come out with her for the entrance. There's no way they're gonna have her lose this match in front of her home crowd, basically. When I said this on Thursday, what I hope this starts is breaking up the Outcast. It looks like we're going down that direction. I don't think she's going to be champion for the long haul. I think that title is going right back to Shida. I think it's going to play into the Outcast separating for good, hopefully. And I think she's probably going to lose to Shida either next week at All Out or next week at All Out or at Grand Slam. That's my guess for what's going to happen with Saraya. And speaking of All Out, before we get to the Coffin match, Tony Khan has made some announcements for the pay-per-view Wednesday night on Dynamite. Orange Cassidy is going to defend the International Championship against Penta, and the winner of that match faces Jon Moxley at All Out next Sunday. And he also announced, per the request of Don Callis, Kenny Omega will face the Konosuke Takeshita at All Out as well. So there you go. 2 matches new, set, and signed for All Out next Sunday. Coffin match. Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage against Darby Allin and Sting. This entrance by Sting and Darby Allin. Fantastic stuff, man. Fantastic. Sting, they had a nice video package for Darby and Sting. Sting came out to the Joker. He got some nice Metallica music in there that Tony Khan bought. Crowd was going apeshit crazy for Sting. And the one thing that I wish Excalibur said on commentary was, "This is what it's like, Sting." Because if you guys remember at WrestleMania 31, when Sting came out and he wrestled Triple H for his first ever WrestleMania show, they fed Michael Cole the line of, "This is what it's like, Sting." And Sting wrestled in front of 70,000 people that night. And tonight, he wrestled in front of 81,000. I thought this was a great Coffin match. All 4 guys delivered. Christian Cage, he tied up Darby Allin with duct tape, and Christian missed a spear. Darby Allin went onto the second rope, and he hit a nice moonsault onto Christian Cage. Then Sting, later in the match, he's got Swerve on a table, doesn't put Swerve through the table. Then he goes for a leg drop, and he gets Swerve through the table. Then Darby Allin sets Christian Cage up on a steel chair. Nice drop kick from the top rope. Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus get involved. Luchasaurus gets involved when Christian Cage is nearly in the casket, and he attacks Darby Allin. Nick Wayne comes out, hits Luchasaurus with the skateboard. Not a wise decision there. And Luchasaurus chokeslammed Nick Wayne onto the skateboard, which That looks crazy. That was a crazy spot. The casket's in the ring. Swerve has taken out Sting. Darby Allin is taken out by Christian Cage. Swerve throws the bat into the casket with Sting. Sting has the bat, blocks the casket, and the referee's like, no, the casket is not closed. Swerve's going crazy. Sting on the top of the casket hits a scorpion death drop on the Swerve Strickland, closes the casket, and Sting and Darby Allin win a great match. Crowd absolutely loved it, and all four guys brought it. Really fun match. Really enjoyed it, man. Good stuff. Predictable outcome. The baby faces get the win. And now Darby Allin, he challenges Luchasaurus for the TNT title next Sunday at All Out. Cameron, your thoughts?
This is what it's like, Sting. This is what it's like right here. My goodness. See this. Tony Khan actually did the right thing. He said Sting got there in front of 81,000 people. And yeah, Sting get the win. Yeah, Sting get the win. There was no NWO coming out. There was no DX coming out. There was no Sting being made to look like a fucking idiot, a fucking geek. None of that. None of that tonight. This casket match was awesome. This casket match was a lot of fun. This is a really fun tag team coffin match here between the two guys. Sting and Darby get the win as they should. I was laughing when Christian and Darby were fighting outside, and Christian was choking Darby, and he kept telling him, "Look at the TNT title! Look at it! That's mine! That's my title!" Christian Cage is great. I love that. Christian Cage is great. Oh God! But I thought this was a really fun match here, and Sting and Darby win as they should. No surprise there. I am shocked that there was no AR Fox here. So maybe AR Fox legit can get into the country, which is why he was replaced here. But this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's my guess too, as to why he was not on this show. Wes?
Yeah, this was an excellent match. Definitely one of my other favorite matches of the pay-per-view. Just wonderful, great stuff from all. Still somehow gets up. It still blows my mind how that dude does not have any kind of major injuries. What he put. Man, thing I can't credit Sting enough. Man. The fact that this dude is 64 and is still doing the things that he's doing is just absolutely incredible. It's like every single time we see this dude, he can almost at what he's still capable of at 64 years of age. Like Sting is just he's immortal. You know, he is. This dude is just like there's a reason he's called the icon. Like this guy's still putting on some of the best performances of his entire career. And man, I couldn't be more happy for the guy. The fact that also this is probably the biggest crowd he's ever performed in front of. Well, headline pay-per-views and put on amazing performances. Man, so shouts out to him. Swerve and Christian Cage, they were being great heels in the match. Prince Nana involved. I love Swerve with Prince Nana dancing and stuff. Man, it's just hilarious. Prince Nana is a wonderful character. He doesn't get enough credit. But man, I mean, I think Darby and Sting might have been my favorite. That was just absolutely fantastic. They both came out looking like total badasses with Metallica just blasting throughout the stadium. I even heard like a good band singing along as well. Who doesn't love some old school Metallica? Am I right? But yeah, this was just excellent stuff. Love this match. The outcome, as you expect, now we look forward to Darby versus Luchasaurus TNT title at All Out, which should be a great match as well. So yeah, wonderful stuff here.
You were going in and out a little bit there. You said your favorite match of the night was the Coffin match?
No, I said my favorite entrance of the night. I had to go to the Sting and Darby with their Seek and Destroy Metallica entrance. They look.
Gotcha. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. Chris Jericho played himself out to the ring. Sammy Guevara accompanied him. Will Ospreay came out to Elevation his New Japan theme music. Don Callis was out there with him. And my goodness, Don Callis did not get booed because he's associated with Will Ospreay. So that's a first. Match was great match again. Chris Jericho brought it. Chris Jericho worked as the heel. He flipped off the England crowd. Ospreay was the clear-cut babyface in this match. Jericho was getting the upper hand early. Slow offense on the Ospreay. He then went for 10 punches, hit a Hurricane Rana off the top rope to Will Ospreay. Ospreay recovers in a little bit. Top rope, he's getting some moves in on Jericho. He sets Jericho up over the top rope. He did the same thing to Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. He hit a moonsault onto Jericho from the top rope, with Jericho hanging over the ropes, and Jericho, he kicked out. Ospreay went for Os Cutter. Jericho scouted it, and Ospreay went for it again. Jericho, code breaker, and then another code breaker to Ospreay, but Ospreay kicked out. Ospreay really fighting hard against Jericho. Next in the match, Ospreay, he goes for Stormbreaker, but Jericho gets out of it, and he hits the walls of Jericho onto Will Ospreay. Ospreay looking for a hidden blade. He hits it while Jericho is standing up. Jericho is dazed. Ospreay hits the Stormbreaker. Jericho kicked out. Thought that was the finish of the match, but they had me convinced. Jericho then hit the Judas Effect, and Ospreay kicked out of the Judas Effect. And then Ospreay had a couple more moves in on Jericho. He hit the hidden blade, with Jericho laying on the floor. Stormbreaker, and Will Ospreay wins. Crowd goes nuts. Crowd singing the song. Ospreay celebrating with the crowd. Great babyface win, even though in this feud, Ospreay was the heel. Tonight in England, Ospreay was the babyface, and that might have been possibly Will Ospreay's biggest win of his career. So now in 2 months, the guy has beaten Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and Chris Jericho. And I've said this on Twitter so many times. I've said this on here. Will Ospreay is stacking up his resume right now to be Wrestler of the Year in 2023. And I think it's going to be really hard to bet against him as Wrestler of the Year once we get to December. Great match. Shout out to Jericho. He brought it tonight. After all the criticism, like, oh, they could have had a better match for Will Ospreay. Jericho doesn't have it anymore. Jericho shut a lot of people up tonight, man. Awesome match. And Ospreay gets the win. And after the match, Sammy Guevara goes to console him, and Jericho gives him a light shove. He's like, get out of my face. So there you go. Big angle going into Dynamite on Wednesday, possibly, between Jericho and Guevara. Wes, your thoughts on Ospreay getting the win on Jericho and the main event? Not the main event, the match.
Yeah, this was a great match between no, yeah, I mean, I heard all the criticism going into this that Jericho wasn't going to be able to hang with Ospreay. Jericho's too old now. He's not in this prime. Obviously, we all know Jericho is not in prime. 2002 Jericho, Will Ospreay, 2023 Chris Jericho. But for what we got in this match, I thought this was very well executed. I thought, and there were a couple little botches here and there in this match. Overall, this was very solid stuff from both guys. Ospreay was a huge fan favorite in this match. It got a wonderful reception from the UK crowd. And I thought the live Judas entrance was really cool, too, for Jericho. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about in this match here. Yeah, both guys look they put on their best moves to each other, but in the end, Ospreay comes out with the victory, which was the right choice overall. It puts Ospreay over so much, probably the biggest win of his career. And like you said, Joseph, in the span of 2 months, he has beaten the likes of Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and Chris Jericho. So those are 3 pretty big names there to go over in pro wrestling. So Will Ospreay is on top of the board. Yeah, he's definitely the 2020 Pro Wrestler of the Year. But you got to give it to Jericho in this match. Jericho was able to hang real well with Ospreay. And I kind of figured, too, because Jericho is my second favorite wrestler. I know we don't have to find Jericho anymore, but I honestly thought, still going into this was a big match. I thought both guys were going to deliver, and that's exactly what they did. And it's going to be interesting to see, too, now how everything plays out between Jericho and Sammy Guevara going into Dynamite today. Now that we know that Jericho didn't want anything to do with Sammy after the match was over, as Sammy tried to help aid Jericho in this match with the bat and everything. Didn't on it. And now we'll see if maybe possibly we'll get Jericho versus Sammy at All Out. I don't know. We'll have to see come Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. But yeah, Ospreay going over with the right call.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. It's talking about an update. I think I should be okay. Cam?
I thought this match reminded me of Hogan Rock from WrestleMania 18, where where the build up, where with the build up going into the match, Hogan was the heel and Rock was the baby face. But once they got out there in Toronto, Hogan got cheered like crazy and Rock got booed. And Rock being the pro that he is, was able to float up where Rock was working the match as a heel and Hogan working at his baby face. That's what that reminded me of here. So I thought, this reminded me of here. But I thought this was a very good match. I thought this was the best Chris Jericho match I've seen in years and years and years. Probably the best match he's had, going back to the matches he had with Danielson last year. But, Will Ospreay, there's a reason why they call him the Billy Goat. Because that man, let me tell you something. Now, that man is a 5-star match machine. Will Ospreay is a top 3 wrestler in the world right now. The man is just firing on all cylinders. And in 2 months, he's beaten Jericho, Okada, and Omega. This man, Will Ospreay, is just absolutely incredible. It is absolutely amazing. The talent that is Will Ospreay. And I hope we can see him more on AEW television because this man deserves to be on national television. That's no disrespect to New Japan. New Japan is a great promotion. Will Ospreay deserves to be on national television each week, whether that be in WWE or AEW. This dude just has it.
I'll tell you what, man. The bidding war of Ospreay is coming up soon, and
that's the real bidding war 2024. No disrespect to MJF, the real bidding war 2024 is going to be Ospreay. It's gonna be for Will Ospreay. That's the bidding war 2024 right there.
Well, dude, I am so convinced right now that MJF already has he's already signed a deal with AEW, so they're running the gimmick until the end of the year, whatever. AEW, they gave him so much pyro. They had him wrestle in the biggest stage of his life. I can't imagine the amount of money Tony Khan paid him to be on this show tonight. And they put him over against Chris Jericho in the biggest show in wrestling history. I think if he wants to live in America when his contract is up, he is all elite. And if he is all elite, there's no doubt in my mind he will be world champion one day. Absolutely 100%. Take it to the bank. It just depends if he wants to move to America, though. So we'll see, man. Excited to see what happens with Jericho and Sammy, and I can't wait to see Ospreay again in AEW. The House of Black defend the trios titles against the Acclaim. This was definitely set up to be the calm down match of the night. The Acclaim selected a no-holds-barred match against the House of Black. There was some fun stuff in there. There was some fun offense between Brody King and Billy Gunn. The fucking Barks, man. They are so over, man. It's so cool just to hear 80,000 people retreating to Brody King, the House of Black. They are just cool bad guys. That's all I can say. Um, the Acclaimed hit Scissor Me Timbers onto Julia Hart. Julia played a factor when they hit the mic drop onto Brody King. Julia pulled Aubrey Edwards out the ring. At this point, Malachi and Buddy Matthews were taken out. All they had to do was take out Brody King. They hit the Famouser, all three of them, onto Brody King. Max Caster hit the elbow drop. Then all three guys pinned Brody King, and to a nice, huge pop, the Acclaimed win the Trios titles. Now, I know it was a nice moment. I personally wouldn't have taken the titles off the House of Black. I think there's still more for them to do with those titles. But I hope now that they're off of them, this can open up their booking as to get Malachi Black back in the singles division. Get Buddy Matthews and Brody King into the tag team division because Brody King and Buddy Matthews versus FTR on Collision, must watch. Absolutely must watch match. And Malachi going at it with guys, he still has a one-on-one match with Andrade that he has to have, in my opinion. So this could open it more, but I think there's still more for them to do with the trios titles than what they were given. Cameron, your thoughts?
I thought this was a really good match here. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. This was the moment in the show, because not respecting the Acclaimed with House Black. This was just the match on the show I had at least bit of interest in. So, to be honest with you guys, I did not pay this match a whole lot of attention. I did not pay this match a whole lot of attention. I thought the mic drop spot, I thought the mic drop spot with Julia Hart pulled, with Julia Hart pulled Billy, with Julia Hart pulled Brody King out the ring was cool. I figured the Acclaimed would win because they're in a big stadium, and they wanted to give the Acclaimed a big moment like that. They wanted to give the Acclaimed a big moment like that. So I figured the Acclaimed would win this match here, as which they did. And the moment of respecting I thought was cool. I thought that was cool. I thought the moment of respecting was cool between the House of Black and the Acclaimed.
Yeah, absolutely. Wes?
Yeah, I thought this was a good trios match here. Not surprised by the result. I predicted the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn were going to win the trios titles. Would have been cool to hold them for a little longer. I figured with the big stadium match and the fact that this is the third time these six guys are going at it, and the Acclaimed lost the previous two times, I figured this is going to be their titles. And now Billy Gunn is at the top of the mountain once again with gold in his possession. And I enjoyed the gesture after the match with House of Black getting over the titles. I also want to shout out House of Black too for honoring Bray Wyatt in their entrance tonight as well.
Yes.
That was a wonderful, wonderful touch with the coming out with the lantern and everything. He had the fireflies and phones putting their fireflies in motion tonight in the crowd. It was amazing to see, and I wanted to shout that out real quick. Honor to. I also noticed FTR Bucks, FTR wore Brody, Bray, and Jay Briscoe armbands on both their arms. That was really cool as well. So there were nice tributes to Bray Wyatt, which was just very well done. I very much appreciate that. I know the rest of the community appreciates it as well. And but yeah, this was really good. The Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, I don't mind. We'll see what happens with them now that they're the new trio champions, and we'll have to see what happens to the House of Black. Now, hopefully, we see Malachi start to get back into the singles division, see both Buddy and Brody, and get involved more in the tag team division. Like you said, Joseph, a Collision tag team title match between Buddy and Brody versus FTR is must see, and I feel like that would be. any wrestling show, but I would imagine that would definitely happen on Collision. But yeah, this was good stuff here. The Acclaimed were obviously grow more over time, and yeah, really cool stuff.
Absolutely, man. So we'll see what they do with the Acclaimed. I don't know how long they'll be champions for. I don't know what challengers they have set up for them. It should be interesting, so we'll see. And it all comes down to this. The main event. 81,035 people at Wembley Stadium. MJF, Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. They both went face to face, and the crowd immediately stood up to their feet and then they were marking out to this man. So MJF, he started a sportsmanship chant. Sportsmanship. So they got 80,000 chant sportsmanship for this match. Adam Cole worked as the heel the entire match. He was playing games with MJF. He was poking at his face. MJF did the eye poke too, but Adam Cole was more of the heel. MJF, at times, he was afraid to do a dive. On the third attempt, he did a suicide dive. They went crazy, and he had a perfect suicida. Adam Cole tried to fucking destroy this guy. He tried to destroy his best friend, man. First, he hit a brain buster on top of steel steps. And I swear to God, MJF's head hit the edge of the steel steps, man. It was brutal, that landing for MJF. And then later on, they're on the announce table. MJF is wondering, should I hit a pile driver to Adam Cole? And he doesn't do it. And then Adam Cole beats him up a little bit more. Adam Cole hits it. Adam Cole hits a pile driver onto the announce table to MJF. So now both guys are in the ring and they scream double clothesline at each other, and they hit double clothesline to each other, and Bryce Remsburg counts to 3, and we get a draw. Now, I know this was not going to be the end. I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. They're going to announce more time for this match. Adam Cole snatches the microphone away from Justin Roberts, and Adam Cole says 5 more minutes. And MJF says, no, we need more than 5 minutes. We need to go until there's a winner. So Adam Cole rolls up MJF. They do a series of roll-ups, and immediately Adam Cole takes out the referee. And then MJF brings in a steel chair. He throws it to Adam Cole. Adam Cole throws it to MJF. These guys are playing catch with a steel chair, man. And Adam Cole, he does the Eddie Guerrero. And this was awesome. MJF pretends to hit the steel chair to Adam Cole. Adam Cole falls. And then MJF puts the steel chair over his head. And he lays down like Adam Cole just clocked him over the head with the chair. That spot was fucking fantastic, man. That made me laugh so loud. My goodness. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then Adam Cole. A brutal Panama Sunrise onto MJF on the outside, man. That looked brutal. And then MJF, he goes for the ring. It's in his tights. And what does he do? He puts him back in his pants. He does not use the Dynamite Diamond ring on Adam Cole. And then out came Roderick Strong, who low blows Adam who low blows MJF, and then Adam Cole hits Panama Sunrise, and MJF hits Panama Sunrise into the boom, and MJF kicked out. Then Roddy throws the World Championship to Adam Cole, and he tells him, use it, use the championship. And he doesn't use it. And MJF rolls up Adam Cole and retains the AEW World Championship. Roderick Strong is speechless. Adam Cole is sitting at the corner. He's crying his eyes out. He's upset. And MJF tries to go console him. And he says, look, watch this. He goes to grab the Ring of Honor tag team titles, and Adam Cole throws away his tag team title. He says, you're not a real friend. You're not a real brother. The World Championship was all you want. And he throws it at him. Take it. Take it if you want it that bad. And then MJF turns around and he says, you know what? Just do it. And they do the same spot that they did on Collision about a month ago. And Roderick Strong is yelling at Adam Cole to hit MJF with the World Championship. He's furious on the ring apron. And Adam Cole drops the World Championship. They look at each other for about 30 seconds. Adam Cole is crying his eyes out, and he hugs with MJF to end the show as confetti is going off. They're both holding the tag team titles. MJF's holding the world title, and Roderick Strong is standing on the apron with the Kingdom. I don't know about you guys. I'm happy we did not get a turn tonight. Now, I do think it's going to come at All Out next Sunday. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what the match is for All Out next Sunday, but it could be MJF versus Roddy. That's what I'm thinking is the direction for All Out next week. But this was Storytelling 101. And for any mark or any shill that says AEW doesn't tell stories, go watch this main event, man. Because you were on the edge of your seat for this for the second part of the main event because of the story that these guys were telling and the friendship that is more important than winning a championship title. Excellent stuff. And they got you captivated going into Dynamite every single week about what these two guys are going to do. I did a lot of talking with that main event. I'll give you guys the floor. We'll start with Cameron.
I thought this was an excellent match here. I thought this was an excellent main event. I saw somebody say this on Twitter, and it's cool. I saw somebody say this on Twitter, and it's true. MJF has mastered the Iron Man match and the big classic stadium, and the big stadium classic, all within 6 months of each other. I thought that was so true. I thought that was so true. This was just an excellent match here between Cole and MJF. Cole working as the heel in this match didn't shock me. It didn't shock me. I'm shocked that the Kingdom didn't come out instead of just Roderick. Roderick Strong. I'm shocked that the Kingdom didn't come out and play a bigger role in this match. And play a role in this match here. That it was just Roderick Strong. But the match itself was great. The Eddie Guerrero spot was very unique. I don't think I've ever seen that spot before. I don't think I've ever seen that spot before in wrestling. The Eddie spot where MJF, acts like he has like MJF acts like his neck is about to get Pillmanized. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen that before in wrestling. So I thought this was just an excellent match. I thought the storytelling here was great. And there's going to be a rematch here, and I can't wait for the rematch. So forth, but I thought this was just excellent. excellent extra cup to cap off an excellent show.
Wes?
This was absolutely perfect. This entire storyline, through and through, I've mentioned it over and over again, how this storyline has just been absolutely fantastic all the way through. There's not been any this is storytelling 101 right here. I mean, this main event was everything you would have wanted in this main event. It had excellent storytelling. You had some excellent touch, and they put the comedy. Whenever they had the comedy bits in this match, it was put at the right spots in this match. And plus, you had the involvement of Roderick Strong and Bryce Remsburg, and it was just all really well done. And the drama and the emotions between both MJF and Adam Cole. Adam Cole, you know, acting very heelish, but to backtrack a little bit. And he's like, "What am I really doing here?" MJF being caught off guard by this heelish nature of Adam Cole, and like Adam Cole taking the better than you, he's throwing it away, and just like. It's such amazing drama built into this storyline. It's like both guys are just so what am I doing? Like, I want to be champion, but like this is my best friend. It's all really well put out, really well done, and man, everybody involved. Very proud of themselves, what they've been able to do with all this, and now that we still don't have a split after all this, both guys are still best friends. They're the Ring of Honor tag. MJF still standing tall. Very interested to see now what they do heading into All Out next Sunday. I could see MJF maybe face Roderick Strong for the title. Maybe we see that play out. Maybe we get a rematch. I don't know, but that's the beauty of this storyline, is that the fact it's been unpredictable. Every single week, we don't know what's going to go down between these guys. We don't know who's going to turn on who, when the turn's going to happen. It's the type of unpredictability that keeps you wanting more every single week. And they couldn't have executed this main event any better, in my honest opinion. I think they did just a perfect job of it. This really capped off what was overall a fantastic pay-per-view tonight.
Absolutely, man. A historic pay-per-view. One that we'll talk about forever. And before we get out of here, some more news for the post-medium scrum from Tony Khan. He did announce that Saturday, November 18th, is going to be Full Gear live from Los Angeles, and Collision will be on Friday night, the 17th, to avoid any conflict with Full Gear. And he also announced another show. It's called Wrestle Dream. It's taking place October 1st in Seattle, Washington, and the show will happen in memory of the 1-year passing of Antonio Inoki. So there you go.
Is that a pay-per-view or what?
I can't. I'm not. People really aren't saying if it's a pay-per-view or not. I'm hearing people say yes and no, so I'm not really too sure. But you got more shows in it for AEW, and that goes with the report that Warner Bros. They're really high on AEW right now, and they're giving them so many shows. So, but my God, we are eclipsing nearly 2 hours of this review. My voice is almost shot. I'm tired. It's been a long day. We're gonna get out of here. Fantastic show. I'll probably watch it back again. And what a day. What a day for sure. So I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel, man. We have some more content coming up for you. We have All Out this week. We have Dynamite on Wednesday. All Out predictions on Thursday. Collision on Saturday. I will be reviewing Collision Saturday. And All Out Sunday night from Chicago. Should be an incredible week. Comment down below your thoughts about the All In pay-per-view. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from myself, Cameron Johnson, and Wesley Williams. You can follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. Cameron, where can they follow you?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. And if you have follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. And if you have the time, I know we just got done watching a big 4 hour pay per view, a big 4 hour pay per view, excuse me. But if you have the time tomorrow, instead of watching Raw, if you have YouTube, which of course you do because you're watching this, make sure you become a channel member on Impact Wrestling YouTube channel for $2 a month, and check out Impact Wrestling Emergence tonight. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Wes, take us home.
Instagram at the Real Wesley Snipes. You can also follow me over on TikTok with the same exact username. Again, that is at the Real Wesley Snipes. Joseph, thank you so much for having myself on this review once again. And send the crowd home.
Guys, thank you so much for a great week here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. We're going to have a great week again with All Out, and then it's football season, baby. I can't wait. The content is going to be firing here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. I'm getting out of here. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.